Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. We are launching a deep dive today into one of the most critical yet often chaotic functions in modern enterprise.
I think chaotic is the right word for it.
It is. We're talking about strategic carbon accounting. And specifically, we're exploring carbon accounting software, or CAS.
Right, and not just as a compliance chore, a tick-the-box exercise.
Exactly. We're looking at it as a core piece of technology that really dictates future business efficiency and, investor confidence. Okay, let's unpack this. It's a massive strategic shift.
It is a shift, and it's being driven by this huge mismatch between what companies want to do and what they can actually do.
Yeah.
The ambition to act on climate is definitely there. I mean, the data we reviewed shows a really strong commitment.
How strong are we talking?
85% of organizations say they genuinely care about reducing their greenhouse gas emissions.
85%. That's basically consensus.
It is.
But I feel like you're about to give me the number that brings us back down to earth.
I am. Because despite that 85% intent, only a tiny fraction, we're talking just 9%, can fully and reliably quantify their total emissions footprint.
Wow.
Across all the necessary scopes.
So the problem isn't willingness. It's just a failure of basic process and, well, a lack of tooling.
Exactly.
That gap between the 85 and the 9%, that's a massive red flag for any stakeholder.
It is. And that mismatch weakens investor trust almost immediately. And critically, it slows strategic action. I mean, you can't measure it reliably.
You can't manage it.
You can't manage it. So the mission today is really to show how businesses can move sustainability from just, good intentions to a measurable, reliable, and auditable outcome.
And the tool to bridge that gap has to be modern software platforms.
Right.
We're talking about solutions that can centralize emissions data, manage the reporting, align targets.
Especially with benchmarks like the Science-Based Targets Initiative or SBTI. That's a huge deal.
A very huge deal. And then coordinate the actual action planning all in one place. It's about moving away from what most companies are drowning in.
Manual chaos.
Manual chaos. And that chaos is the starting point for far, far too many organizations.
It is. We know that 86% of businesses are still relying on spreadsheets. Still. Usually a complex web of disconnected files to track something as critical as their climate footprint.
That seems almost reckless given how quickly this is all moving from voluntary to mandatory.
It absolutely is. And, the internal trust is breaking down. There was an industry survey that found many executives actually doubt the quality of the data being produced this way. When you rely on these scattered files, you get versioning issues, hidden errors, data gaps.
Well,
It just makes the reporting unreliable.
you have an example of that.
Oh, yeah. I remember a client, they discovered a massive Scope 2 reporting error. It went undetected for months, all because two different regional managers were using slightly different versions of the same Excel template.
And if you can't trust your own data, you can't make smart, high-stakes decisions. Period.
Precisely.
That perfectly illustrates why the old way is just broken. So to fix it, we need standardization. Before we get into the software, let's just nail down the core metric. CO2e, carbon dioxide equivalent. What does that actually normalize for us?
CO2e is, it's essential. It's what allows for comparability. It bundles all the different greenhouse gases.
Like methane, nitrous oxide.
Exactly. Methane, which has a much higher short-term warming potential, nitrous oxide, industrial gases like HFCs. And it converts them all into one single standard unit.
So it's the universal translator for climate impact.
That's a great way to put it. This standardization is critical. It's what lets you benchmark performance across different business units against past performance and, crucially, against your entire supply chain.
Without it, goal setting is just meaningless.
Totally meaningless.
Okay, so once we have that standard unit, we have to talk about the boundaries, the scopes. Let's quickly recap scopes 1, 2, and 3 and talk about why the order you tackle them in matters so much.
Right, this is the Greenhouse Gas Protocol Framework, the GHGP. It's really mandatory for any credible reporting. Scope 1 is the easiest place to start. It's what you directly emit.
Okay.
So fuels you burn, on-site natural gas for heating, for instance, or emissions from your own company vehicle fleet.
Direct operational control.
Correct. Then Scope 2 is your purchased energy, electricity, heat, steam that you buy from a utility. This area can deliver some pretty fast wins.
How so?
Well, switching to a renewable energy contract can dramatically reduce your Scope 2 number very quickly. So our advice for anyone starting out is always to prioritize Scopes 1 and 2 first. It gives you quick visibility, helps find some cost savings, and it builds that internal muscle for data collection.
And then there's Scope 3, the notorious one. Why is scope 3 always the heavy lifting?
It's the challenge because it's usually the largest share of a company's footprint, often 70% or more, but it captures the entire value chain.
So everything else.
Everything. Emissions from the goods you buy, your employees' business travel, shipping your products, and even how customers use your products. It's all outside your direct control, so mapping it requires some deep data collaboration.
And that collaboration is pretty much impossible without the right software. Which brings us to the feature checklist. What are the essential things you need to cut the manual work and build that trust?
Okay, first job for any platform is just ingesting data without, breaking a sweat. It has to support multiple input methods.
Not just manual uploads.
No, manual uploads are fine, but you absolutely need bulk imports and, crucially, robust APIs, application programming interfaces. You need to be able to pull data directly from your core systems: finance, ERP, procurement, utility meters, all of it. That's what makes audits feasible.
And when you say APIs, you're talking about avoiding all that painful manual ETL work, the extract, transform, load process.
Precisely. Good software minimizes that manual transformation step with native connectors.
Yeah.
Now, beyond that, we have to talk about AI.
I hear a lot of skepticism about AI in this space. Where does it provide real, demonstrable value today, not just buzzwords?
That's a fair question. AI is extremely helpful, but its role isn't, forecasting the climate. Its role is in data integrity.
Okay.
AI augmentation can speed up data mapping, like automatically categorizing spend data. It can see a line item for fuel purchase and assign the correct emission factor. But more importantly, it flags anomalies. If your utility use suddenly spikes in July, the AI flags that for a human to review. It basically becomes your automatic quality control.
So that confirmation of data integrity leads us to the third big feature, certified trust. Your outputs have to be instantly audit ready.
This is absolutely non-negotiable for any serious business. You have to demand certified calculation engines.
What does that mean exactly?
It means the underlying math that converts your energy use into CO2e has been independently verified. You'll see certifications like TÜV, which is a German standard for quality. And beyond that, the system needs robust internal controls like SOC2 compliance.
Can you just quickly define SOC2 for listeners who might not be in IT or compliance?
Sure. SOC2 Service Organization Control 2. It's an auditing standard that verifies how well a service provider manages customer data. It ensures security, availability, confidentiality. The works. For carbon accounting, it proves the platform is a tamper-resistant record keeper. And that's what gives investors and auditors real confidence.
Okay, so we have trustworthy data. Now that data needs to be turned into actual capital decisions. What tools help turn these certified outputs into action plans that a CFO can get behind?
This is where the strategic value really comes alive. First, you need excellent decarbonization planning tools, scenario tools.
So you can model different futures.
Exactly. They let you input various projects, say electrifying your fleet versus installing on-site solar, and model the outcome against your SBTI targets. You can actually compare the ROI of Project A versus Project B.
Asking which one saves the most money and cuts the most emissions.
That's the question. Linking carbon reduction directly to financial ROI is absolutely key for getting leadership buy-in. The platform also needs practical action planning modules. It's not enough to just set a target. You have to assign owners, timelines, budgets. We've seen huge efficiency gains here. The Ampigo case, for example, showed a strong platform could cut routine data entry time by up to 80%.
80%? That's shifting your team's time from reconciliation to actual strategy? That's a huge ROI right there.
A huge ROI. And finally, governance is crucial. The software must maintain complete audit trails, data lineage so you can see exactly where a number came from, and tamper-resistant records. This just makes external assurance faster, cheaper, and way less risky.
Okay. So if the problem's understood and the features are clear, the next big hurdle is vendor selection. How do you match the right software to your specific business? Because one size definitely does not fit all.
You have to start by looking at your existing tech ecosystem. That's the easiest leverage point.
For example,
If your organization is already heavy on Microsoft Azure, Power BI, then looking at a native tool like Microsoft Sustainability Manager is a smart move. It just cuts integration costs right away. Similarly, if you're deep into Salesforce, their net zero cloud can be a very rapid rollout because it sits right on top of your existing data.
that avoids a massive integration headache. But what if your main driver is, say, finance-grade reporting for new global regulations?
Then you need to look at the enterprise-class platforms, the ones focused on auditability and complexity. We're talking about systems like Persephone, IBM's Environmental Intelligence Suite, or Sphera, Persephone, for instance, is known for its footprint ledger, which provides that financial accounting rigor that finance departments love.
And what about that big headache, Scope 3? If your value chain is the main hotspot, where do you look?
Then you need tools that are purpose-built for getting data from outside your own four walls. You want platforms with strong, easy-to-use supplier portals and survey functions.
To make it easy for them to give you data.
Exactly. Look at platforms like EmitWise, which is now part of Watershed or Sweep. Their strength is simplifying that data exchange with hundreds or thousands of suppliers.
Okay, let's talk about the bottom line. Total cost of ownership TCO. How do we model that, and what is the actual measurable ROI?
TCO goes way beyond the annual license fee. Enterprise plans can run into the mid-six figures annually. You have to factor in implementation, API work, change management, and ongoing support costs. It's a system investment, not just a subscription.
So how do you justify that spend? How does the ROI become undeniable?
You frame the ROI through three lenses for the C-suite. First is immediate time savings from automation. That 80% time cut we mentioned. That's real money.
Okay.
Second, risk reduction. Being audit-ready lowers the cost of rework, restatements, potential fines.
And third?
Value from insights. The scenario tools let you prioritize projects that also save energy spend now. Things that generate immediate operational savings while cutting future carbon liabilities.
You also noted the emphasis should always be on decarbonization over offsets. Why is that distinction so important for ROI?
Because offsets are an operating expense. You have to keep buying them. True, durable ROI comes from reducing the source of the emissions. When you invest in a system that helps you cut energy use, you cut a recurring cost forever. Investors are getting much smarter about this.
That brings us to our final point, future-proofing compliance. Regulations are a moving target. We have the EU's CSRD, the pending SEC rules, California's SB 253. Do these modern systems handle that?
That is their core job. A good platform is built on the GHGP methodology, and it automatically maps your data to these evolving regulations. You mentioned CSRD, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. A solid CAS system will automatically pull the necessary data, structure it correctly, and provide the lineage needed for assurance. It dramatically reduces the compliance burden.
So the system really acts as a proactive defense against compliance risk.
Exactly. You move from reacting to regulations to being proactively structured so that when the next one drops, you're already 80% of the way there.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the core message seems to be that the path to credible climate action starts with verified data.
And that verified data has to be turned into prioritized projects. You use those scenario tools, the ROI analysis, to find the projects that cut emissions and costs. And you maintain that GHGP alignment for credibility.
So if you are currently shortlisting vendors, what's the most practical, least risky next step you can take before committing to a huge multi-year deployment?
We highly recommend running a short proof of value, a POV. Don't try to track your entire global footprint in the test.
Keep it small.
Keep it focused. Pick just one high-impact emission category, maybe a major fleet operation or a key procurement category in Scope 3. That targeted 90-day demo will quickly reveal if the integrations, the features, and the vendor support are really in place before you sign a large check.
That focused pressure test is invaluable advice. Thank you for tuning in to the SmartKeys podcast.
We hope this analysis helps you make an informed choice and turn climate accounting into a real competitive advantage.
If you want the full checklist of essential features, detailed definitions for all the compliance acronyms we talked about, and a comprehensive vendor roundup, the link to the full article is available in the show notes. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the future of work and business.